Hey guys, welcome to the HTML Awesomeness course, where you will learn to write the basics of HTML the awesome way. My name is Gilad, and I will lead you through this amazing course. I began my career as a web developer, but soon transitioned to entrepreneurship, where I founded my very own startup company. Currently, I work at the company I founded from scratch, and also I do what I love the most, teaching you guys. I designed this course for anybody seeking to learn basic HTML and begin a career as a rockstar web developer, as well as anybody who just loves to expand their knowledge. By the end of this course, you will have a rock-solid knowledge of all HTML building blocks such as HTML titles, HTML links, HTML images, HTML forms, and many, many more. I will teach you the latest version of HTML5 by the standards of the W3C Association. These standards are used by all the major companies in the world. Not only will I cover all of these topics, but I will also give you an opportunity to practice them by giving you a pop quiz every now and then. The ideal student for this course is anybody who wants to expand their knowledge of HTML, or get a leg up in the web developer world. There are no prerequisites necessary to enroll, but I do request that you come open-minded to my silly jokes. You are free to look at the course description, and I look forward to meeting you inside. You might ask yourself, why should I learn HTML anyway, right? Well, if you do, don't be shy. It's a valid question, and I will try to answer it in this topic. Nowadays, everything is on the internet, and in this magical place, the only language is HTML. You may go to some website on your mobile phone, that's written in HTML. You may order some tickets to the concert that you always wanted to see. The ticket website was written in HTML. Heck, nowadays, even mobile games have HTML in them. HTML may be the only language that hasn't gone extinct since the dawn of the internet in the early 90s, and it's here to stay. What is HTML? So now you know why you should learn HTML. Let's dig a little bit deeper and understand what HTML is. The abbreviation HTML is actually used because of a marketing decision, because hypertext markup language is not very catchy to some people. Go figure, huh? Let's break it down. Hypertext is the method by which you move around on the web. You click on one link, and then in some sort of magic you go to another page, and so on and so forth. Markup is for HTML tags. Tags are what the language of HTML is made of. Don't worry, I'll explain to you later in this course what a tag is. Language, well, HTML is indeed a language that our beloved browsers understand. Where are you now? Bonus! Woo! I believe that if you want to really understand something, you have to get what I call the big picture. HTML is a powerful language that you may know, but there is a big picture for it if you want to be a web developer. To be frank, you don't have to understand it. So if you want to skip to the next topic, it's okay. But I do encourage you broaden your knowledge a bit and see what you can learn next. HTML and CSS. So HTML is what you see when you first open a web page, but HTML has a close friend called CSS. They come together like peas and carrots. Thanks, Forrest Gump. And the reason for this is because HTML is in charge of the structure of the page, and CSS is in charge of the design of it. For example, you might have a great HTML header with your name on it, and the CSS to paint it blue. Server-side or JavaScript. Next up, you have the logic of the web page, and it's divided into two parts, JavaScript and server-side, which can vary from website to website. Let me set up a real-world situation so you can understand it better. Let's say you have a great website. You set up its structure, and then you designed it with CSS, and then in the bottom of the page, you have a big gray submit button. And you want your users to press the submit button and then get the current time. I don't know why you would do this, but let's say you do. You have to somehow set a simple logic to your web page to grab the current time from somewhere, and then send it back to your HTML and CSS to present it. Right? That's why you have that logic. Databases. So you have your web page structured and designed by your HTML and CSS, you have your logic with JavaScript or server-side, And now you want to save your user's username and then welcome them every time they click on your website with "Howdy Johnny 4589." How are you going to do that? Well, when your user enters your page with their username and password, you send the server side the details that the user typed inside of your HTML, and then the server side requests the details stored in the database of this specific username. Then it sends the name back into this pipeline until it gets back to the HTML, and HTML presents it, and the CSS makes it look pretty. Do I need a special program to use HTML? So I bet so far you are sold about learning HTML and join the gang of the web development world. But you are probably asking, what software do I need before I can start HTMLing? And the answer is nothing. Almost all computers come with some basic tools necessary to start to write HTML. If you have a PC using Windows, you can use Notepad. And if you have a Mac, you can use TextEdit. Personally, I like to use Notepad++. It's powerful free software for PCs. You can download it for free here. https://notepad-plus-plus.org/download. I will use Notepad++ on every example shown in this course, but you can use whatever software you like. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I'm so excited. You are all set with your shiny Notepad++. You know everything you need to know about how it all connects with other components of web development, and you are ready to go with tons of enthusiasm. What more can an instructor ask for? Tags and elements. Let's dive into writing HTML code. Remember the M on the HTML? We talked about it, and agree it represents the word markup, which is tags. And here we are, learning about tags. So what are tags? Tags are things between open angle brackets and closing angle brackets. I'm sure you've seen such code in movies and stuff, and if you didn't, and even if you did, you are more than welcome to right-click on every website and click on the View Source option. Tags are everywhere on HTML, and they are basically the most important building block of HTML, which every word inside of these weird angle brackets makes a different meaning of tag. Most of the tags, and we will soon see why it's most of them and not all of them, have closing tags. For example, you can think of it as a way that we're trying to say to the browser, "Okay, browser, now we want to start doing something," and "Alright, browser, you can now stop doing what I told you to do." Note that the difference between the opening tag to the closing tag is that little /. Together, the opening tag and the closing tag make up a perfect couple called an HTML element. Let's try our very first HTML element. Right inside of your text editor, and if you will refresh your page, you will see that indeed we have regular text for the part that says "I like bananas." But when it says "only when it rains," the HTML rendered it differently, with a little bit of emphatic flair. All that thanks to our beloved HTML elements. I like bananas, but only when it rains. Self-closing elements. We've seen that elements have an opening tag, a closing tag, and between them is the content we are manipulating. Not evilly. But some elements do not carry any content inside of them. Let's have an example. If we'll render our browser, we'll be witness to a horizontal line, thanks to the self-closing element of the HR tag. Note that the element has no closing tag, only one tag, and instead of a / before the HR, we will have it after the HR. We have a few self-closing elements in HTML, and we will bump into some of them in this course as well. Yay! Attributes. Sometimes you will want to provide additional information to your HTML element. You can achieve it with an HTML attribute. For example, In this example, clearly my robot is flirting with my car. But if you will look closely and hover your mouse over the text in the web page, you will see a tooltip saying, "Not really," with a strange looking smiley face. This is because we added a title attribute, which lets the browser act as a tooltip. Attributes have criteria. They will come only on the opening tag. You have a key and a value. In this example, the key is title and the value is "not really," with a weird smiley face in addition. The equal sign separates the key from the value. And last, you can add as many attributes as you want. Yay! ID attribute. When I was a child, I had a friend that had an identical twin brother. Sometimes I was very confused and thought my friend was his brother, and vice versa. So I made up a system to remember him by. My friend had a little mole right over his left eyebrow. Just like my fictitious, genetically weird friend, your elements could be practically identical to your other elements, which could cause confusion if you try to add a bit of design for it later in CSS or make up some logic with JavaScript. Here is an example of what I mean. In this example, we have two lines of text. On the surface, it seems like you cannot tell the difference between them, except that one says paragraph 1 and the other paragraph 2, but each line has a different ID. This is very important, and you will come across this problem later in your career when you combine your HTML with other snippets of code such as CSS or JavaScript, and we will explore it further in the intermediate course. By the way, you can grab a 50% coupon for it right here. http://basichtml.gilad.me/discount50. How to set up your page. Alright, so far we've learned about HTML, HTML tags, HTML elements, and even attributes. But we didn't talk about how it all comes together. Type this in your text editor. What you see now in its simplest form is the example of HTML document. You can save it and use it whenever you want to start writing HTML. Let's get through every element and see what we have here. The exclamation point doc type declaration defines what version of HTML we are using. All you need to know is that this tag is telling the browser the version of HTML you want to use. Just stick this in and that's it. Oh, and one more thing. Note that it's not really an element, it's a tag without a closing tag. That's the only tag you'll see acting weirdly that way. Immediately after the doc type declaration, we have the root of all the HTML elements, with the best HTML tag name of all, the HTML element. The HTML element summons all the other elements nested inside it. The head element is where your HTML stores all of its settings. This is where you can find all of the metadata, all of the titles, links, scripts, and styles. The almighty body element is where the rest of your code will be. This is where you will most often write. You two will be the best friends ever. You will write inside of this element all the time. HTML title. I've never seen another website or web page without a decent title decorating the browser tab. If you would like to have your own web page title, type in your text editor the following code. Save your document and refresh your page and see what changed in your browser. You can now enjoy a brand new title in your browser tab named Welcome to the Stinky Cottage Cheese website. And what a welcome that would be! Imagine that! Just like we said earlier about elements, we have the opening element title, then the content, our text welcoming us to our Stinky Cottage Cheese website, and then in the end, the title closing tag. Note that just like we said before, the head element holds all of the settings, so to speak, of our web page. So a tab title is indeed a setting. So we placed it in the head element. Paragraph tag. Alright, let's add some text to our website, shall we? Type that in your text editor. Save it, refresh your page, and see what we have done. Oh snap, Somehow my browser interpreted my piano text all wrong. I wanted my text to be 2 lines separated from each other, and it, quite rudely I must say, presented it as one huge line. What gives? Well, HTML ignores all new lines, spaces, and stuff like that. For those kind of tasks, we have our paragraph tag. The paragraph tag, represented by the letter P, allows us to differentiate one paragraph from another. Add this to your code. Now save it and refresh your page, and voila! We have 2 separate lines. HTML break line. Now we want to make our 2 lines have more space between them. Save it and refresh the page. Wow, that was easy. Due to the BR tag, we can create a new line, push our paragraphs away from each other, and even break our line of text in the middle of the sentence. Look. Did you see that? Oh man, almost magical. By the way, you can see that our BR tag is a self-closing tag because it does not hold any content, just like we learned in the previous lesson. HTML heading. Now that we have a title tab, we also want our current page to be decorated with the title heading. To do this sort of task, you will need to type this in your text editor. Save your file, refresh your page, and let's see what we have got here. Oh wow! A huge, beautiful, suspicious title says we have a dilemma with our broccoli. Why a dilemma, you ask? I asked that too. Anyway, we have more heading tags. H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. All of those are subheadings with different sizes. See for yourself. HTML list. Every year I have new things I want to do for the upcoming year. I grab a pen and paper and try to imagine what I can do this year that will be great and exciting. Well, this year we are going to write down my list in HTML. Type this in your text editor. Alright, so we have our list. Note that we have nested elements here. We've got the UL tag, which means we want our list to be unordered list. And inside, we have li tag, which means list item. Just like in the unordered list, we have also ordered list. Let's order our list from the most exciting thing to the least exciting thing to do next year. Alright, so we have in the first place, hands down, the best thing to do next year. Stop making lists! Wow, I can't wait to make that a reality. Then we have the second round. Change my name to Simon. Speak in third person. That would be awesome. And then, last but not least, hire 2 private investigators. Get them to follow each other. Imagine that, huh? HTML images. There's no cool website that lacks images. In this lesson, we will try to place a great image into our website. Take a photo of yourself and place the image file in your website folder with the name me.jpg. Then, in your text editor, type Now save your file and refresh. And look at that. Who is this great looking web developer? A great photo! Let's dig down and see what we have right here in the code. First things first, we have the img tag. As you can imagine, img is shorthand for image. No big deal. Then, we have 2 attributes inside of this tag. We can also see that our image element is a self-closing element, which kind of makes sense, because it's not holding any information. The src attribute is a source, which means that this is where the image file is located. And the alt means alternative text. At times the image might not load for whatever reason, and the browser will show your alt text instead. HTML comments. In the near future, you might work as a web developer on a project, and in this project you will work with more developers. In that case, communication is key. Because of that, we have comments inside our HTML. Here's an example. As you can see, I have a paragraph that says I cannot wait to hand my frog a gold medal, which is a very normal thing to do. But right above this paragraph, I have a comment which clearly says to delete the paragraph before publishing the web page. Now, I can write anything I want in this comment. Its sole purpose is for me, or for my colleagues to see and act accordingly. Furthermore, it won't be visible on my web page in any shape or form. HTML links. Oh my, this is all very exciting. We are heading into one of the very great things about the internet, links. You know that feeling when you're going to Wikipedia and then clicking around and then 5 minutes later you find yourself reading about hamsters in Namibia, right? Well, this is the power of links, and we will learn it here in this lesson. So, open your text editors and type this. Now save your file and refresh your documents, and behold, a link. Oh wow. Now let's examine this link, shall we? We have the A element, which is a link element. Then we have an attribute named href, and the content that we typed there. The href attribute holds my link path, the address of the website that you will see if you click the link. And the content will be what you will see on the website, usually in a blue underlined text. Forms. Do you know all of these daunting websites that require you to place your username, your first name, and stuff like that? Well, today we will be daunting as well, and we will build a form like that. Type this in your text editor. Save it, refresh it, and let's examine what's going on. On our root element, we have our form tag. Inside of the form tag, we have several input tags. These are self-closing elements. The first one is input tag typed text, which is a tag that allows us to have a text box. It also has the placeholder attribute. That will make a cool placeholder effect. By the way, this works only on newer browsers, so don't freak out if nothing shows up. The other input tag is the checkbox. It has a checked attribute. That makes you have the checkbox checked in advance. We also have a nested HTML element called select element. The select element is a special element that tells the browser to render a multi-select list, or a drop-down list. Nested inside of this element is the option tag. Each option tag specifies the options in the drop-down list. Surprise, surprise, huh? And the last input tag is the input tag type submit, which is a submit button to send everything into the server side, if we had any. Now what? Congratulations! You accomplished this course. You heard a lot of bad jokes in this book, and I'm very proud of you. You might ask yourself, now that I've accomplished my first HTML course, what should I do now? How can I improve my web developing skills? Well, my young Padawan, now it's time to combine your HTML skills with some CSS. I do have a CSS course just for you. And because you purchased this book, or in compensation for my bad jokes, I'll give you 50% off all of my programming courses. Just send your email address to http://basichtml.gilad.me/discount50 and you will get your discount.